Why black swans do not date broke men. Hello, my name is Chengi, and you, my precious one, of course, are my world. I am your dating and relationship expert here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy, where we teach you how to present as a high value, high status, high worth, feminine woman that high value masculine men find completely irresistible at any age, in every way. You are the Black Swan, the one they didn't see coming. So welcome to this channel, and today topic is close to my heart, okay? And close to every woman's heart who has any real sense of a worth and value in herself. But I really want to break it down because I know that I want to break it down for you because I know that it is not just about, I don't want to trigger people, and I don't want to be misunderstood, and I do not want it to come across as though I am really about this gold digger life, because I really am not, and I cannot stress it enough. I do not believe that men were born to take care of women's bills and do all of these. I really don't believe that any woman gave birth to her son to become her ATM. Okay, so I am not keen on coming across in any way this way, but let us be just 100% with ourselves, okay? And I also want to just define what I mean when I mean broke, okay? So a 25-year-old, 23-year-old coming out of university, college, you know, any man sort of under 30 who is still going into college, still learning, still growing, establishing themselves, this man is only broke if he can't pay for a cheap date somewhere, because let's face it, he's not necessarily going to be earning a lot of money. He's probably going to be moving jobs quite a bit, getting entry-level sort of jobs, or maybe even struggling to really get his feet in. It doesn't mean that because he doesn't have, you know, thousands and you know, tons of spare cash, that he is not eligible for love. I think it's a fantastic and brilliant time to meet a man when you are also in university or college and you're young. It's a fantastic time to grow together and build together. Okay, so at this point, anything is possible. You're both malleable, you're both driven, you both want to create something beautiful. And so I wouldn't be a 20-something-year-old woman sort of thinking, he's broke, he's broke, he's broke. I believe that when you're that young, you can really invest in potential, obviously, that looks like it's working through a process that is smart enough. So let's just be clear about this, because I don't want, you know, the younger women who are under 25 to be, you know, kind of taking this thing and going with it. Now, if you want a man who is more affluent, you're going to have to date much older, because, you know, after the age of 30, if a man has got no disposable income, if a man is still living with mom and dad and he doesn't have, you know, he doesn't rent his own place or have his own place, he doesn't have to have owned it, but if he's still that dependent, if he still cannot afford, if paying for dates is like a thing, then this guy is broke, okay? He's broke. And any man who's over 40 and has not established himself and is not, his life is just everywhere, 35 onwards, a man should really be on the road to establishment. And then anything that you and I bring is really to amplify his efforts. We're here to expose, you know, we're here to bring that va-va-voom, that extra something, you know, to what he is creating. We are here to amplify what he's already created. We're not here to start helping him with the basic building blocks. If a man is 35 and over, then of course he needs to be in a position where he can even begin to create a situation for himself where he can have another grown-up living with him, and he's in a position to support you and say, you know what, I can afford to marry you, I can afford to buy you a ring, I can afford to, you know, to be part of, to have a wife, okay? So at this point, if a man is over 35 and is not in this position, he is broke, ladies. If he's broke, he cannot do anything. And we're going to talk about why this is so important. What I find is that after a certain age, 35 and over, maybe 40, dating in your 40s, I find a lot of divorced men who've come from broken relationships, And you know, this is a key indicator of the role they were playing in that marriage. Okay, I have found, and in my observation, that if a man is completely financially decimated after a divorce, it tells me one or two things. The first thing it tells me is that he was not the main provider in that home, that chances are he was leaning very heavily on his partner to support the lifestyle. And so, because let's face it, in the court of law, certainly within the English marriage system, it's 50-50. And so if he had been a man who was leading, growing financially within a healthy relationship, and wasn't leaning 50-50 or expecting or looking to his partner, because many of these marriages are held up by the woman. Yes, the men may be professional, they might have whatever, but often these marriages are held together by a successful woman who is paying and doing the lion's share, and he just did not develop and grow and build his muscle. So when the marriage breaks up, the breadwinner, the power person, the person that was making things possible leaves, and now he's decimated. He has got nothing to his name, nothing to speak for himself. He's just this decimated, you know, in a room somewhere, you know, crying about how women are wicked and how they take everything. But their legal processes, and the legal process is not in favor of men, I can agree to a degree. But at the end of the day, even if half of what you have, even if 60%, because usually the wife has the children, so in terms of paying off, you know, childcare, whatever, his 40% shouldn't leave him financially decimated, like with nothing, and needing you to take care of him. This man is broke and was irresponsible in his marriage and did not run his finances appropriately. And why should you be the one to carry the slack? Okay, I also want to talk about also realizing some of the ways that broke men move in our lives. Sometimes a broke man will say, you know, you always come with, I don't have it like that. Things are a little bit, I don't have it like that. Things a bit tight, things a bit difficult. They always lead with what they don't have. They always lead with this desire to manage expectations. They always lead with this, let me just manage your expectations of me around money, and they want to lead with that. And then we're like, oh, at least he's being honest, and we feel like, oh, you know, one honest guy who's trying to be honest. But in reality and in truth, he's not trying to be honest. He's just trying to let you know that you are taking on a bad egg, and that when he is ready to punish you for your stupidity, you would have signed up for that deal. Because every masculine man, any man with any masculine energy in him whatsoever, understands that as a woman, most women are not going to accept that deal. So the only woman that will accept that deal is a desperate woman, a low value woman, or a woman that's gullible, right? They know that. They know that no self-respecting, high value, high status, feminine woman is going to accept a deal to date a man who has nothing to bring to the table or really to offer her. And so many of us fall into this category. Here's why it's really, really a bad idea to date a broke guy. I can tell you that many of you watching today would probably take on a broke guy if he cared for you and cherished you and spent time with you and gave you attention and reminded you how precious you are, or even supported your efforts. Even if he decided, you know, I'm going to be the wind beneath her wings, I'm going to help her build the empire. You know, many of us would be like, you know what, I could deal with that, you know, because not all of us want to, just extract cash from a man. Most of us, if we check our hearts, are really just looking for somebody to hold us at night, to love on us, to call us, to make sure we're okay, to rub our feet and to hold us tight and to be there, to be our guide, to fight for us, to come to us, to, you know, there's so many non-financial desires we have of men, and many of us would quite happily, you know, accept that deal. Except, ladies, he will never, ever, ever let you. Okay? When a man doesn't have any money, he cares about it way more than you do. I remember a time when I was dating this guy. He didn't have very much, but it was like soulmates. We were like, ooh, when we spoke, it was like we were talking to myself, you know, just in a male version. It just seemed like this rapport was ridiculous, was amazing. So I'm having this amazing conversation with this guy, and you know, it turns into a mini relationship. So we kind of moved quite swiftly into the next phase of the relationship, but then things started to go a bit funny. And so I was at lunch with some friends of mine, and I said, you know, I was even prepared to overlook the fact that he didn't have as much as I'd have. Like, I was prepared to overlook his financial status because I genuinely thought I've met my soulmate and this is fantastic. And then one of my friends turned around and said, Chengi, it didn't matter to you. Sadly, it mattered to him. And that is when what I always knew became solid, because I realized that broke men will never really ever feel like men, especially if they were brought up to believe and to know, and intuitively every man, even feminine energy, that it is their role to give, protect, and cherish. They know that it is their role, whether they deny it or not, whether they can justify it or not, whether they can debate it or not. It is already ingrained in them that they must show up as a provider. And after a while, they begin to resent themselves and begin to project that resentment on you. They begin to see themselves as incapable, because masculine energy feels good by doing good. And when a man cannot do good for the woman he's with, when he cannot buy her gifts and he cannot take her to places that he knows she would like, or finance certain things in her life, or give her the things that other guys can possibly give her, he's going to be resentful about himself and project that on you. And those of you who have dated broke men will certify that you have been emotionally battered. I mean, they will take you through the ringer. A broke man will destroy your soul. He will find ways of putting you down. You know, he's gonna find ways of lowering you. He's gonna find ways of accusing you. He's gonna find ways of deserting you. He's gonna find ways of, you know, bringing you down. He's gonna want to bring you down. Or he's just gonna struggle to be there for you. He's going to struggle because he feels like every single time he's in your company, he can't do anything for you. He can't take you anywhere. He can't create an experience for you. So then he decides not to spend time with you. So you'll spend a lot of time by yourself, and you'll be like, okay, I don't have a lot of time myself. So the little bit of time I have, I would like for us to spend it together. And he'll be thinking, okay, she wants to spend a whole weekend with me or a few days with me, and I'm gonna have to finance that, and I don't have it. And so it becomes very, very toxic when you're dealing with a man that is broke. It is emotionally harrowing. You will go through a spectrum of emotions. And if you choose to finance him and give him pocket money or whatever, then this other dynamic unfolds, where if he is willing and accepting to accept gifts or money from you, then now there's an exchange of power. He's now in it, and you start to feel used. You start to feel used, and you start to feel like, is he here for the money? You don't know anymore. You don't know if he wants to be with you or he doesn't want to be with you. And because he is taking from you, if he's a masculine man, he's probably self-loathing because he's having to take money from you. You know, if he's feminine, he's probably thinking, I'm onto a winner, but now I have to service her. And so you kind of end up with these non-intimate moments where his body is there, but his soul is not. You know, he's not present. You know, if you are sexually intimate, he's not even present in the act. He's far away, and there's this disconnection. And so dating a man who is broke is just always going to be a bad idea. It's going to be a bad idea emotionally. And so sometimes, ladies, we just have to accept that a man that is broke is not going to be relationship ready. A man that is broke is not going to be marriage ready. I don't care what he says to you. If a man is not financially set up to have and to hold a woman in his life, he will not marry you, because men marry when they feel financially stable. And so when we're out here wasting our time with broke men, thinking we can help them, we can elevate them, we can change them. And I remember listening, I was just scrolling through Facebook and I saw an interview that Stéphane Le Boursier was doing with somebody, and I just listened to a few kind of minutes of it, and he was saying, you know, the reality of it is if a woman accepts you broke, she will always in the back of her mind consider you a project. Right? And I thought, that's true. You know, even we begin to lose respect, and even we start to think, I'm taking on this project. And in reality, girls, we're black swans. There are plenty of men who are not projects. There are plenty of men who have their lives together. There are plenty of men who have room and space emotionally, mentally, financially for a black swan. There are men out there who don't need to bring you down so they can feel better. It is always, and I say always in capital letters, bold and on a banner, a really, 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 really bad idea for a woman and a black swan to date a broke guy. And I've already done a video on this channel about why it is a bad, and I mean a bad idea, for a black swan to date broke. You can't be broke. It's not gonna work for you, baby. It's not gonna work for you. So let us not, you know, and this is something that ends up shipwrecking marriages, because money is such a central point to relationships, period. Whether it's dating or marriage, it is important because it supports the lifestyles, it supports the romance, it supports the health, the well-being, the peace of mind of the home. Money is a servant that serves relationships very, very well when it is present, and it is a tyrant when it is absent. And it can devastate any relationship at any point, not having enough of it. And so it's really important that we partner with people and men who are financially competent and capable. Now, he doesn't have to be a millionaire. He doesn't have to be rich. He doesn't have to be the guy that can buy you, you know, designer all day, every day. He doesn't have to be the guy that can take you on exotic holidays. But he has to be comfortable, and he has to have, you know, an income that allows him to show up for you the way he wants to show up for you, especially the way you deserve for a man to show up for you. So I really want you to consider this, and I want you to think about it very, very carefully before you accept a love proposal or any date with a man who is clearly broke. I look forward to seeing you on my next video. And in the meantime, my darlings, do take care of you. Love you lots. Bye.